Welcome back everybody, my name is Tucker, this is Sporting Logically, and today is Free Agent Friday. This is a weekly series where I take a look at one player that could be a free agent this summer and examine the circumstances of their free agency, what kind of contract they could sign, and which teams they could sign with. I put out a poll yesterday to decide who would be featured this week, and the community choice was DeAndre Jordan of the LA Clippers. For the first time in 6 years, DeAndre Jordan and the rest of the Clippers roster played without Chris Paul by their side this past season. While DJ posted a career high in rebounds per game and his scoring numbers didn't drop that much, he was much less efficient from the field and earned far less trips to the free throw line. Most concerning, however, is his sub-1 blocks per game average, the lowest of his career. The most interesting part of his free agency situation, however, is the fact that he might not even be a free agent when the offseason officially gets underway. He has a $24 million player option for next season, a salary number that I doubt he would be able to match over a long-term deal on the open market. This presents a huge question to the big man. Should he take the player option and maximize his earning potential for next season with his eye on 2019 free agency, or should he turn it down for long-term security on a lower annual salary? Given that he will turn 30 years old before the start of next season and the increased risk of injury that carries with it, I would expect him to turn down that player option and become a free agent, which is the assumption we'll be working with for the majority of this video. While it would be a big decision to turn down that $24 million option for next season, it wouldn't be an uneducated one. There obviously are no guarantees and things can change very quickly in the NBA, but should his representation get indications from a few teams that they would be interested in signing him to a long-term deal, then they would likely advise Jordan to decline the option as well. In terms of his annual salary, I would expect something in the $17 to $20 million a year range, which may seem too high to some at first, but he is still one of the best rim-rolling bigs in the league and a great rebounding presence as well. Again, I can't emphasize enough that if those kinds of deals weren't out there for Jordan, he wouldn't even make himself a free agent in the first place. With that salary range in mind, there are only 7 teams that will realistically have enough cap space to sign him outright without the use of either a sign and trade or a series of salary dump moves. One of those 7 is the Philadelphia 76ers, who already have Joel Embiid and have their eyes on bigger fish anyway. That just leaves the Suns, Kings, Hawks, Mavs, Bulls, and Lakers as possible free agent destinations. Most of those teams either don't have a need for a 5-man or have a roster that doesn't fit the timeline of bringing in a 30-year-old center on a long-term deal. There is one team among that list, however, that is really not a fan of being so low in the NBA standings as they are right now, and doesn't plan on staying there for long. A team Jordan should be very familiar with in free agency, the Dallas Mavericks. Rick Carlisle and the Mavs have been searching for a rim-protecting and rolling big man to plug into their system ever since they let Tyson Chandler go after winning the 2011 NBA championship. They very nearly signed DJ as a free agent in 2015 in one of the most bizarre free agent tales I've ever heard of, and traded for Nerlens Noel last season as well, a move that hasn't gone well to say the least. This time around, however, things might just work out between DeAndre and the Mavs. They have the space to sign him, a young point guard in Dennis Smith Jr. to run pick and rolls with, and a solid scoring wing in Harrison Barnes. After just their 3rd lottery finish since the turn of the century, the history of the organization suggests that they would like to turn things around quickly. With the addition of DJ and whoever they draft with the 5th overall selection, they could be well on their way to playoff contention in what could be Dirk Nowitzki's final season in the league, making them the only realistic destination for signing him outright in free agency in my eyes. That brings us back to the beginning of the video where I discussed Jordan's player option for next season. If his representation gets the indication that the market for 30-year-old centers with declining statistics seeking long-term $20 million deals isn't great, he could very well opt in to stay with the Clippers for another year and try free agency again in 2019. Right now, that seems like the only real way he ends up playing for the team next season. Though things seemingly change daily in LA, as one minute it looked like Doc Rivers was going to get fired, and the next he was signing a contract extension, it doesn't look like Jerry West is interested in giving DJ a long-term deal. In this scenario in which he does opt in, if the team doesn't want him around, they could look to trade him, or they could deal him in a sign and trade after signing a long-term contract. The problem is that there just isn't much of a market for the big man via trade either. The whole point of not wanting him on the roster next season from the Clippers' perspective is to not have such a large salary bogging down an already expensive roster that isn't close to contending. But they would have to take back matching salaries for him in return, and because he would be on a one-year deal anyway, it wouldn't save them any money this year or next year regardless. On the other hand, in a sign and trade scenario in which DJ signs a long-term deal, I just don't see many teams willing to give up assets to bring him in. I mean, maybe I could see a team like the Raptors working some magic and dealing Jonas Valanciunas and possibly a pick for Jordan, but that seems pretty unlikely. In the end, without a crazy change of heart by the Clippers in terms of their willingness to offer the big man an extension, I see the Mavericks as the most likely option for DJ this summer. If he doesn't feel wanted in LA and thinks he can get long-term security in exchange for sacrificing a higher annual salary this season, then ending up in Dallas would be a pretty good outcome for everyone involved. The Mavs get back to contending for the playoffs, DJ gets a long-term deal, and the Clippers get his salary off the books entirely. And that is the end of the video. I'd love to know where you guys think Jordan will sign as a free agent. Let me know down in the comments below. If you like the video, then leaving a like rating is a great way to let me know, and if you'd like to see more videos just like this, then be sure to subscribe to Sporting Logically for more content every single week. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.